The girl you're stalking on Instagram, the one you swear is faking it, the one you say, oh, social media isn't real when you watch her post. What if she's not lying? What if she's actually happy? What if she's actually thriving? And what if the reason that makes you uncomfortable is because you don't believe that that kind of life is possible for you? Because the uncomfortable truth that a lot of you don't want to hear, and we've all been in that position before, is that social media is not ruining your life. Your interpretation of social media is what is ruining your life. My name is Blossom, and I'm here to make sure that you never settle for a life that is less than the life that you deserve. And today we're going to be talking about something that every ambitious woman in her 20s struggle with, but usually do not like to admit: how to use social media as motivation without falling into comparison, jealousy, insecurity, or self-sabotage. Because the same app that inspires you can also make you feel behind, can also make you feel broke, can make you feel single, unattractive, and can make you feel late in the journey of life. So which one is it going to be for you when you watch social media? Do you want to watch videos and reels of people you know, or people that you see online that are the same age as you? Do you want to feel bad, or how do you want to use that video when you see it? Chapter 1: social media is actually a powerful form of motivation when you use it the right way. But let's actually be honest. When you see someone your age that is financially ahead of you, that is in a healthy relationship, traveling around the world, they are in shape, they are launching businesses, they are glowing, and instead of thinking stuff like, oh, if it is possible for her, if it is possible for this person, it is possible for me too. No, instead you think stuff like, that can't be real. There must be something wrong. I know her life is not perfect. She's probably miserable behind the scenes. You tell yourself things like that. Why do you do that? Why do we as humans love doing that? Because it is easier to invalidate someone else's success than to confront your own insecurity. Yes, social media has, it has exaggeration. There are filters, and usually social media is usually just a scroll of highlights reels of people's life. It's usually not the complete reality. But good things are happening to people, and if your brain cannot accept that good things are possible, you will subconsciously block yourself from receiving them. And psychologically, this is tied to what they call a scarcity mindset. There have been research on this that shows that when people operate from scarcity thinking, their cognitive bandwidth shrinks. They make worse decisions, they feel threatened instead of feeling inspired when they watch videos or things like this that are supposed to make them feel better and feel like they want to get better in life. So when you scroll and you immediately think, it's not possible for me, you are shrinking your own capacity. You are shrinking your own capacity for success. You're shrinking your own capacity for a better life. You're shrinking your own capacity for better things in your life. Chapter 2. And this is where I will provide a little bit of balance. Comparison is natural. It is very true. It is very normal in human beings. According to a social comparison theory, humans determine their worth by comparing themselves to others. It's not toxic by default or something. It is a human behavior. But this is where it becomes dangerous, when comparison turns into identity damage. When you don't just think stuff like, oh, she's ahead of me, and then you begin to think stuff like, oh, I'm behind, I'm failing, I'm not enough as a person. It leads you to see yourself as less, especially as a human being that is just growing and is just learning. Because let us be real, society puts timelines on us. They'll give you a timeline for success, they'll give you a timeline for marriage, they'll give you a timeline for beauty, they'll give you a timeline for everything in your life. So when you see your mates doing better in their finances, in their health, in their intellect, in their romance, it can actually hit a lot deeper. But I need you to listen to me carefully here. Someone else being ahead of you does not mean that you are behind. because your timelines are different. It just means that you are in a different timeline, and timelines are not competitions. They are not. They are personal journeys. It is your own personal journey, your own personal life that you should focus on. Sure, you can look at someone else for motivation, for getting better at life, but your personal journey is what actually matters. Chapter 3. You said something powerful in your original thought, right? Instead of using social media as inspiration, you tell yourself things like, it's not possible for someone to be that happy. Oh, it's not real. Oh, something bad must be happening behind the scenes. And I need to challenge that for a second. What if it is real? What if that person that you're watching is happy? What if that person that you're watching did build that business? What if that relationship is very healthy? What if? Have you ever thought about that? If you refuse to believe that something is possible, how are you ever going to manifest it? You're never going to be able to manifest it. You're never going to be able to visualize it. You're never going to be able to prepare for it. You're never going to be able to walk towards it. You cannot receive what you don't believe exists. And some of you sabotage your own dreams this way by emotionally rejecting proof that they are attainable. Social media is a proof of the fact that your dreams are attainable. And when you do that, that is self-sabotage. Pure, simple, and plain.
Chapter 4. Here is a major shift for you. Instead of doom scrolling people who trigger insecurity on you, how about you create your feed intentionally? How about you follow women or people whose lives reflect your goals, your financial discipline, fitness, emotional maturity, intellectual depth, healthy love, the things that you want for yourself. And when you do that, you don't just scroll passively, you study, you observe their habits, you observe their routines, you observe their mindsets, you use it as a vision boarding in motion, kind of. So, not just the vision board you have on your wardrobe or something, you use these people's lives as a vision board for you. There are neuroscience studies that shows that visualization activates neural pathways in your brain that help you when you see things like this, mental images like this. It will allow yourself to imagine it for you. So you are literally training your brain to normalize that future that you want for yourself. But this only works when and if you believe that it is possible for you, and when you let go of those toxic thoughts that are in your head. Chapter 5. Now, this is the other side. Do not romanticize social media either. Yes, I just said all that and I'm still saying this because remember that social media is still created, social media is still edited, social media is still selective. It definitely is. So you need to ground yourself in your own real life. Touch grass, literally. Build offline skills. Develop depth beyond aesthetics. Be a better person, a fuller person. Because if your self-worth depends entirely on digital validation from people online, you will always feel unstable. Use it as a mirror for your ambition, not as a measurement of your value. Because social media cannot define your value, cannot define your worth, cannot define who you are, who you aren't, what you bring to the table, and what you don't. You are the only person that can decide and define that for yourself. Chapter 6. How to apply everything I've said into become the highest and best version of yourself. Step 1. Audit your feed. Unfollow anything that triggers insecurity without inspiration. Step 2. Reframe immediately. When you feel jealousy, say things like, this is evidence of possibility. Step 3. Identify what exactly you admire. Is it her discipline? Is it her consistency? Is it her standards? What do you admire? Step 4. Translate admiration into action. What small habits can you start this week? Step 5. Limit passive scrolling. Set time boundaries. Be intentional about what you consume and what you watch. Step 6. Build offline proof. That is, work on your finances, work on your body, work on your mind, work on your character. Because the highest version of you is not threatened by other women's success. The highest version of you studies that success, learns from it, and builds her own lane. And that is actually what matters eventually. Because to be the highest and the best version of yourself, you need to be comfortable with seeing other people succeed and choosing to learn from it and use it as an inspiration for your life. Social media is not the villain, it is just a mirror. If you see jealousy, insecurity, anger, that is feedback. If you see inspiration, if you see drive, if you see expansion, that is alignment. Stop pretending that good things are not possible for you.
And if they can happen for somebody else, then they can happen for you too. But only if you stop scrolling like you're a victim and you start scrolling like a strategist. Because we are not competing, we are evolving. We're becoming the best version of ourselves. And you are not behind just because you see other people ahead of you, or so it seems. You are building, and you need to start building like you believe in what you are building.